女士们、先生们，我们即将进行的比赛项目是冰壶自由舞竞技阶段。
As a courtesy to our skaters, we remind you that flash photography as well as video recording and filming is forbidden. Gifts and flowers offered to the skaters at the end of their performance must be completely wrapped, and we thank you very much for your cooperation.
我们提醒你，请勿在比赛过程中使用闪光灯及任何录像设备，同时请确保在用别结束表演后，您抛送。
Hello everyone, welcome to Beijing, China. The final day of competition of Skate to Milano. It's the free dance and the men's free program coming up on today's menu. I'm Ted Barton along with Mark Hanratty. Mark, we've had a great 2 days, and yesterday was so exciting in the women's event. It was just fabulous, and I think this event has become much more than what it was planned to be, which was just a qualifier for the Olympics. It became much more.
And just this morning, you're totally right, Ted. Yesterday was such an exhilarating and exciting day for the skating community and fans of the sport. And just this morning, as we've arrived in the venue, we've had some discussions with some of the illustrious coaches who have been Olympic athletes themselves. And they too have also acknowledged that Skate to Milano in the National Indoor Stadium in Beijing has had the energy and excitement of certainly not an Olympic Games, but the feeling of the Olympics is very evident in the energy in the building.
Well, we spoke to a person who's never afraid to give her opinion on things. Barbara Fusopoli,
yes,
of course, a very famous skater and a very famous coach, full of energy, and she thought this was absolutely brilliant in what has happened here, and they're coaching the kids, of course, but it's more than just the Olympic thing. We saw stories from around the world. We saw young athletes. It's very similar to the Junior Grand Prix, where we're getting a real global representation, and we're getting stories from deep inside a person's soul, the family's commitment to get them to this stage, and the stories that go along with that. And on top of that, of course, the battle for those 5 spots in the women's and in the men's, the 4 spots today, and of course the 3 yesterday with the pairs.
Yeah, and I think we perhaps didn't acknowledge as much in the pairs discipline as we look ahead now to the ice dance competition, the extra layer of storytelling and just finding a partner to take you on the Olympic journey with. And as we look through this event today and we cast our excitement over the 19 couples competing, there have been so many examples of huge sacrifice to even form a partnership, to share this often expensive, often exhausting journey.
And you know, folks, do not think this is just about skating. Skating is the platform in which is bringing us together. This is about life. This is about family. Mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and grandpas and grandmas. It's about how we all want to live our life. And it comes together through a journey of these people who happen to use ice as the platform for their expression. So the stories are rich and they're global. And we're trying to tell more of them, and we will continue to do so while we enjoy the brilliance on the ice.
And there, confirmation of the results from the rhythm dance as we look ahead to the free dance. Shortly you will see on screen those that are in the top 5 places after the rhythm dance, remembering that there are only 4 that will qualify by right through to the Olympic Games in Milano. And currently those spots are taken by Lithuanians, Australians, Swedish and Japanese ice dance teams, but it will be a true battle to try to secure those extremely precious and valuable places as we see the judges who will decide the fate of the 19 teams and 38 skaters.
Sounds so severe.
Yeah.
But it's true. And we have an interesting discussion this morning. We'll bring that up a little bit later. Learning ourselves about the sport, the current state of the sport and the possible future it holds. Such an interesting discussion. This wonderful city of Beijing, incredible hosts here. We're 2 Olympic Games. recent Olympic Games, these facilities are pretty spectacular, Mark.
Yes, the arena itself, the very infrastructure with which we find ourselves sitting in, it's just such a monumentously huge building with such a wonderful sound system. So much so that I'm a little overwhelmed by the sound in this venue. We're very fortunate to be able to see and be inside the venue commentating on the competition itself. But,
yeah, it's really exciting.
Loud.
It is. So we're down to 10 seconds as we do the countdown to the introduction of the athletes. On day number 3 here in Beijing, the free dance is up next.
This is Ice Dance Free Dance. Let's welcome the skaters. Representing Azerbaijan.
And so, opening the free dance competition, the Azerbaijani representatives Samantha Ritter and Daniel Brikalov, the first to compete on this third and final day of competition in Beijing. And then to the team from the Netherlands, Chelsea Verhey and Shireen van Geffen.
Walking up pretty calm compared to the women yesterday.
Well, I think as the ice dance event progresses, we might see some additional energy towards camera. Oh,
there we go. Here we go.
Harlow, Lynella Stanley, and Seja Urano are giving us all the vibes.
We got it.
Representing Kazakhstan.
And now to Gakur Narizova and Boyasanger Datyev, Kazakhstan skaters competing.
Skaters, your 5-minute warm-up begins now.
Now, Mark, just as when you said when PJ Kwan said 5-minute warm-up, let's go for the fans that don't know. 5-minute warm-up for ice dance. It's 6 minutes for pairs and singles. Explain a little bit more on that.
Yeah. Also, what's probably important to note, in addition to the differences in the time for the warm-ups to the different disciplines, also in an ice dance competition, you can have 5 teams on the ice in a warm-up, 10 skaters, whereas in the pairs event yesterday, the max number of teams that will be allowed in a warm-up will just be 4 teams, 8 skaters, and that it's
about risk.
Debatable. The pair teams need the space for the twists and the lifts. The ice dancers, though, although perhaps
how are you going to say this,
traffic on a pair's warm-up needs to be steered and directed to facilitate the elements. The dancers, they need traffic too, but they're not scared to get
Here's
close.
a good analogy. The ice dancers are like a driver in a car reading their phone while they're driving, right? They're emotionally engaged in their dance.
It's illegal.
It's so, yeah, exactly. So it's hard to see the other teams. The pairs, it's very dangerous elements what they do, so they know exactly where the teams are, and of course they have a bit more space as well. Just joking aside of it.
Well, actually, Ted, obviously, as commentators of the Junior Grand Prix, we have referenced readily and regularly the fear that I have when I'm watching an ice dance warm-up. And I think as the juniors are obviously less used to international assignments, then we do often see more collisions as they are so invested in the preparation for their own competition that sometimes they're a little less mindful of what's going on around them and the collisions happen. In the seniors, there is a greater understanding of what's to be expected in an ice dance warm-up. However, it can get really quite intense out there. And I think I still have a PTSD from the anxiety levels of an ice dance warm-up because the speed is insane. The couples are multi-directionally skating, traversing the rink in different patterns, whereas the pair skaters do hit a more formulaic expectation of movement.
If you strip down the beauty of the dance teams and the performance, and you look at the danger, the speed, the depth of edge, the risk, although it looks beautiful, but it is risky. That's the deceiving thing about ice dance. It's maybe not exactly as risky as pairs, but close to it, but it doesn't look like it.
But yeah, very, very different. And I mean, even within this, this event, we've got the team from Cyprus who, during practice, have broken bones at Junior Grand Prix events. So, there's no lack of awareness about how risky indeed this discipline can be. It looks, though, pretty calm. dependent upon the entry list, there are different group numbers, and because this is the first group, there are just the 4 teams on the ice. The subsequent 3 groups will all have 5 teams, so it will be a little bit more crowded out there. And as we progress through the competition, because this is a seeded draw based on the results of the rhythm dance, we can expect increased speed and increased depth of edge in the later groups, and with that comes the propensity for more collision making.
I was wondering where you're going with that sentence, but you ended it quite well.
Thank you.
Okay. So next week, Baku, back to the Junior Grand Prix, back to the next generation of skaters, and we saw a number of skaters in this event that are participating in the Junior Grand Prix, so that they're age eligible at 17 for both, and highly skilled, of course, and just getting their toes dipped into the deep water of senior events.
Yeah, but interesting as we've been here in Beijing and seeing so many of the same coaches that are involved and responsible for the athletes at this event. Many of them have been and will continue to be involved with the creation of the next generation of junior athletes as well. And as we see Adrian Diaz rinkside as coach, again, whoa, oh my gosh. Oh dear. Okay, so now all our thoughts go to the skaters that are on the ice, just coming to terms with the collision that has just taken place. Obviously, we had acknowledged this is an unfortunate reality often on ice dance warm-ups. So,
looking for the medical people now.
I think it's that of Chelsea Verhey and Shireen van Geffen, the Dutch team on the ice. The other skaters now obviously have to try to stay focused and fixated on their own objectives, staying mindful of what they need to do, but everybody in the building will of course now be very eager to support Chelsea and Shireen. They are now just leaving the ice to get the support that they need.
The end of the warm-up has been called. That team was scheduled to skate second, so we will see what happens. The event will continue right now.
So opening the free dance competition at the Skate to Milano event, Samantha Ritter and Daniel Brikolov. This free dance is to music from Meyerling, the 1968 movie. And Samantha loves the ballet too and found the story of her watching a performance by the Royal Ballet. That the inspiration for this free dance. The first team in the ice dance free dance competition, Azerbaijan representative Samantha Ritter and Daniel Brikolov. This team will have been disappointed to find themselves in 19th place after the rhythm dance with a score much lower than they are certainly capable of. And for me, at the beginning of this program was so brilliant. The curve lift was
really good.
So gorgeous. I think it fatigued a little bit towards the end, but as we've not mentioned today, it's early in the season.
It looked a little bit like there was a break. I'm not sure if something happened, but it looked like Danielle didn't stop, but broke the performance for a second. I could be completely wrong. It might have been something in the choreography. I don't know, and then it got slow from there.
Yeah, I think certainly components and grades of execution in the first half were much more favorable than perhaps what happened after the fatigue maybe setting a little bit, but there were some stunning movements, and Samantha hits gorgeous line, which is, I'm sure, inspired by the ballet that she watched to help them choose this music. Look at how beautiful, divine this position is. Oh, what a picture.
Yeah, it was a great start to the program. Yeah, that's beautiful.
And that, you know, we have no control over the slow motion replays, but I was thinking this is a unique stationary lift, showcasing the strength that Daniel has at this earlier point in the program. That coming in at a level 3 on the stationary. I love this as well, the difficult entry into the twizzles. Good bit like outside spread eagle, changing edge, and then into the synchronized twizzles. And I also like the transition between the first and the second twizzle, which is allowed to be a little bit more creative than what we saw in the rhythm dance. As we look at the final element, the choreographic lift. 3 choreographic elements for the senior ice dancers in a free dance. We have a choice of 7 different types of choreographic element. And Samantha and Daniel choosing the choreographic assisted jumps, choreographic lift, choreo slide, which was actually another highlight in the program for me. Didn't see that in the replays, but I really like the choreo slide.
It's so difficult. I mean, there's an element of, performance / acting. It depends on the story, of course, and sport.
Yes.
That gets complicated. Where's your mind? On the sport aspect, the technical, one moment, and then the storytelling the next. Not easy.
Yeah, and as is the case in the singles as well, the skating skills and the grades of execution will so govern what happens in this event as it does with any ice dance event. But for Samantha and Daniel, a couple on and off the ice, and they said that they're so happy and feel so lucky to experience what they do on this journey as competitive senior international ice dancers side by side.
Take a look at the free dance score, 79.85. They are the first team out for Samantha and Danielle. Total competition score of 125.63.
Difficult score for a team that was hoping for so much more in this event.
Our next skaters represent Netherlands.
Well, now we send all our very best wishes to the team on the ice. Chelsea Verhey and Shireen van Geffen representing the Netherlands. And if you joined us at the start of this broadcast, you'll have seen it was a collision towards the closing seconds of the warm-up. Hopefully Chelsea has managed to get her brain and body in the right preparation for their free dance.
Help me, stranger, I am lost. My mind's a maze, I'm just as host. Can you tell me who I am? Don't be scared now, take my hand. Take my hand.
Mark, that was pretty remarkable. We'll talk about quality and refinement and stuff. That's later. That's you. But I want to say, wow, that was, there's only so much space the skater has to work in. That's around them. That's on, that they can keep their balance on their feet. And they did a remarkable job of exploring that space with different angles and different positions than we had seen before. That was wonderful.
Well, their coaches who aren't here, Maxim Nikitin and Alexandra Nazarova, were always known for having unique movement, and they said that Chelsea and Sharim love creating new and difficult elements. And so I heard that from them, and oh my goodness, they have absolutely displayed that. And yes, the skating skills are weak and the refinement is not there, but Chelsea, Sharim and their staff, their coaching team, have created stuff. I almost feel for them now, because I think a lot of the more famed and celebrated ice dancers and their teams will be looking at this and thinking, gosh, we're going to take some of that inspiration, because there were so many brilliantly difficult transitions.
They showed the possibilities that others had not. Wow.
And the story of a vampire and a witch, which they're excited to demonstrate. The story and the concept was good, but it was some of the transitional content. Their choreographic hydroblade movement, and the criteria for that is a low movement with the upper body almost parallel to the ice. But it's that,
it's
exactly.
Swiveling around, amazing.
They must have had so much fun in the creative process, and this team must have given so much time in the off-season to create. I mean, this too, there's so many picture moments that are unique to Chelsea and Sharim. They must have given so much. Look at this. This is like the pair's dismount of a pair lift. They must have given so much time to that creation.
This team, for me, showed me that there's much more to do and to explore in this discipline than we have seen to this point. So they may not be refined.
Wow.
They may not make it, not going to be at the top of this, but they've opened the door for people to see. Look at that. That was fantastic.
And they're obviously drawn to that, and I know that their coaches were renowned for their own creativity, but now the challenge is now for Chelsea and Sharim is to, perhaps what they're not drawn to, is to draw to the, perhaps to them, the boring,
the basic
repetition
work.
of skating skill, but
wonderful work.
I mean, you've all heard me raving about Josephine Taljegard yesterday, but this has some of that same kind of uniqueness. And here, supporting them, Sarah and Kirill, friends of their coaches, Maxime and Alexander, who are at home. Also, amazing that they did that after the warm-up as well.
That was special. That whole thing there is special. 79.39, that's second in the free dance. Total competition score 127.54 as they take the lead. But it's not about the numbers, it's about the innovation and creativity this team has demonstrated here and shown the rest of the ice dance world. There's more to discover.
They should patent some of that stuff they've just showed. Copyrighted.
Yeah.
Our next skaters represent Mexico.
And now to the Mexican ice dance team of Harlow, Linella, Stanley, and Seiji Urano. And in this Skate to Milano event, they are so proud to be representing Mexico here.
La noche irá sin prisa de nostalgia. Seremos esta noche todo el día. Vuelve a mí, amanece y luz en nuestra alcoba azul. Donde no hubo sol para nosotros, seremos Guataqui, Guataqui, qué gracioso el Guataqui, 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 qué gracioso el Guataqui. Guataqui, Guataqui, qué gracioso el Guataqui, 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 qué gracioso el Guataqui. 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 Guataqui, Guataqui, qué gracioso el Guataqui.
Mexican team, Harlow, Lynella Stanley, and Seiji Urano. Shame that they had that little mishap at the end of the choreographic character step sequence. That's not the ideal way for them to finish this program. However, for us, because we're mindful of seeing the skaters' development, for me, Harlow has just improved so much.
Yeah.
And this new partnership, I think, whilst it's obviously in its kind of developmental stage, she's found a partner in Seiji who I think has as much potential performance and character, even just the way that they skated onto the ice for their warm-up. They're both such great characters, and that's a great, you know,
They have
ingredient
charisma.
list for ice dance.
They have charisma, and it's going to take a while for the two individual charismas to work into one, and that just takes time. And we've seen her, of course, on the Junior Grand Prix, so we've seen this development.
And development of skating skill and style as well, as we see some of the highlights. There, the jump entry, that one of the levels that will boost their twizzles. The hands extended in front, another level feature, but you can see just a little out of synchronicity with one another. And so that's why the creative execution for that element, although they had the level 4, is into minuses, so losing some points there. But look at the commitment to the extension of the fingertips. Choosing 2 curve lifts, so Seiji in an outside spread eagle position, and then changing onto the inside. As we see their choreographic.
Little bit of a bobble there.
And that's going in as a choreo slide because of Seiji touching the ice. These slow-mos are good. And you know what, when we're looking at this now, it is Skate to Milano, it's the Olympic qualifier, and these athletes are now getting to see on the live stream, they'll have these moments captured forever. Don't think they want to capture that moment though. No, it's not one that we want to see. That was a bit cruel to show that back, we didn't need to see that, but that's going to go in as a fall, -1, it's part of the sport,
Come on, it's part of the sport.
And actually, in chatting to Harlow and Seiji, they too have their own ideas about how ice dance can be progressed moving forward. We're joking about some of the different features that could be taken into the ice dance.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion, and interesting discussion about how the sport will evolve over the next 4 years, and exciting stuff. Some crazy ideas, some wonderful ideas.
Pia Suke joins as part of the coaching staff alongside Alexei and Elena.
Free dance score is 73.56 for Harlow and Seiji. That is third of the free dance with a total competition score of 123.38. And that, at least for the moment, will put them into third place.
莱利阿斯坦利和第12.65得分，73.66分夺得分，123.38分出现在第3位。
And now to the Kazakhstan team, Gaukar Narezova and Boyasango Datyev, and their free dance is about the concept of the artist and designer Yves Saint Laurent. The lyrics in this free dance say, I cannot say everything I feel, sadness, anxiety, joy too, and pride, the fear of not doing well, not succeeding, but I'll do my best and relentlessly. That the words in this piece, that the motivation for them to secure a personal best in the free dance.
Je ne peux pas dire tout ce que je ressens. La tristesse, l'angoisse, la joie aussi, la fierté. peur de ne pas réussir. Aussi. Mais je ferai de mon mieux, et ce, jusqu'au bout. Ça, je peux vous faire le serment. Yves.
Well, the highest technical element score already input and a big high 10 in celebration for Gaukar Narizova and Boyasanger Datyev.
Oh, that straight line lift at the end of the program, that pickup, that's so difficult. They made it look easy, but wow.
And that testament to their training, a lot of which they've had to do on their own because of some passport and visa issues. They've been self-training, and so they've obviously been working hard together, motivating themselves to get the run-throughs done, to have the energy to deliver on that penultimate element, the straight line lift. And I think also what I love is just a different concept. This, the Yves Saint Laurent, the film, I think 2014 film, I haven't seen it, maybe I've missed it, but I haven't seen anybody else take that concept and run with it. And it's so hard to come up with something new and unique, and it's great that they found a vehicle that motivates them.
Yeah, but we've talked quite often understanding what the vehicle is and giving you that story. We don't have a lot of time to dive into it, but it gives the viewer a hint of what this is all about as we take a look at the...
Oh, that's
that was a
so
beautiful
nice.
shot. That's lovely.
This was great too.
Yeah.
Opening stationary lift. And Ted, I've got to also acknowledge for Gaukar and Boyasanger, the coaching staff is so important. Here the Twizzles and Sarah and Kirill, their coaches from the SK Ice Dance Academy, they're setting up a new school in Madrid, trying to help develop. And for me, knowing the story of the coaches as well, it's so great to see the putback, the redevelopment of competitive elite Olympic ice dancers, then supporting next generation. And our sport needs that, and I'm grateful that there are people that are giving up so much of their life to give us this.
And expanding it in that country. You know, growing it.
And also being internationally accepting of different you know, skaters, as they have for Gaukar and Boyasanger representing Kazakhstan here.
Well, 88.65 is their personal best from last season.
There's that difficult entry.
Difficult entry, and so well done.
The 1 foot dismount. And you know, the team had explained that it hasn't been the optimal preparation because they weren't able to get to Sarah and Kirill as readily. And so then I think that kind of gives us justification for the joy that we see on them now, and just the joy of representing and giving a clean skate. Ah, look at that.
The scores, please.
Nice.
Connected.
They still want the scores
By
though.
hands, 84.14. That is first in the free dance with a total competition score of 134.78. As Gaukar and Boyasanger take the lead at this stage of the event. Up next, second group.
And the first team in this second group, the Armenian ice dance team of Kristina Dobrosadova and Alessandro Pellegrini.
Sophia Nova
And then to the Polish ice dance team of Sofia Dawal and Wiktor Kolesza.
Representing Georgia.
And then to the new ice dance partnership of Maria Kazakova and Vladislav Kaczynski.
Representing Italy. Giulia Isabella Paulino and Andrea Tuba.
And to the Italian team of Giulia Isabella Paulino and Andrea Tuba.
Representing Cyprus.
And to the final dance team in this warm-up group, Cypriots Angelina Kudryavtseva and Ilya Karankovic.
And now, Mark, we've added one more team to this warm-up, so I'm getting stressed.
Yeah, well, you're getting stressed.
Yeah.
That's normally mine.
5
domain.
teams, 10 skaters on the ice. Doesn't seem like a lot, but in ice dance, when the emotion of the performance of the warm-up takes the eyes maybe a little bit more away from what else is happening on the ice, it can be a little bit, and they're such fast skaters.
Yes, and you know, if you're just joining us now, we've had one warm-up already, and unfortunately there was a collision, so hopefully now that won't happen in this group. But we have a little bit more experience, as will be the case throughout the event. As we proceed to the later stages of the competition, each of the teams will increase in experience, and we have an Olympian already in this group with Maria Kazakova. She's already experienced the Olympic dream, so brings that experience to this group of 10 skaters.
Did you ever have a collision on warm-up?
No, I think, well, actually, maybe the ice dance community that I competed alongside can remind me, but my memory was always that I was perhaps too, I don't want to get in anybody else's way, so I was a little bit too submissive to letting people go, which...
Annoyed your partner?
Yeah, probably. and actually, there's we spoke a lot in the first 2 days of competition about our the pleasure that we have in commentating on the sport, and we also referenced a lot about unless you have actually experienced that, you know, our inside detail and feeling. And in an ice dance warm-up, I know that each different discipline will take little comedy jibes at the different disciplines, and I competed in 2 different disciplines, and so I can make light of some of the comical aspects of ice dancers. The ice dancers are all vying to showcase their work. They're all often very extroverted and eager to, oh gosh, and
There we go. Again.
eager to catch the attention of the judges, eager to infiltrate the minds of the judges to give them greater grades of execution and higher component scores. And so everybody's oozing high octane energy, and so often there will be a call and a shout on the ice because everybody's trying to showcase themselves, not wanting to stop. And so often there'll be a call or a shout mid-warm-up to try to
Clear the way.
And so the sound of "hup" was something that you'll hear in an ice dance practice and in an ice dance warm-up. And I remember being told that that's what you have to do and thinking, gosh, that seems surreal. But then when you're out there, it is a little bit like a battlefield, and you find yourself having to shout "hup, hup, hup" to try to make sure that you just don't crash.
Well, that people are aware that you're on a collision course. Somebody has to change.
And so for me, it was like, oh, I don't want to sound like I'm being offensive or rude, but equally, if I don't hop, then my partner's blade's going to end up in somebody's.
You know, Mark, that's a really good piece of information that people wouldn't hear, obviously, on a stream or on a television broadcast, but they would in the live arena. And you hear that, you go, what is that noise? What's it coming from? But that is to make people aware we're on a collision path. Someone's got to move.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I remember watching, as we look at Angelina and Ilya, I remember watching warm up when I had the good fortune of being at Worlds in either Japan or Montreal over the past few seasons, and seeing your top teams of Piper, Gilles Popwari, Madison Chalk, Evan Bay, Charlene and Marco, and Lila Lewis. And what was interesting in and that was they too wanted to showcase their elements, and these patterns of the top dance teams, you can't avoid them. They're not conventional like the pair skaters or the single skaters.
No.
It's all over the place, so you can't really justify the traffic at any point in time. What I think you notice in the top teams is that they know that the warm-up isn't as necessary because their work is done. So they seemed more casual in acknowledging the warm-up. There wasn't perhaps the same kind of fervorous intensity as that we see from the earlier teams who still have the feeling of so much to prove.
Yeah, the skating skills of the ice dance, they change. The curves change so quickly. It's unpredictable. In pairs, you know the pattern that they're skating on. You can stay away from that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the ice dancers, it's all about agility and curves and depth of edge
And you know, dependent upon the different skaters, we're watching the ice dance competition, but we don't know, well, each of these teams will have very different training locations. They may be fortunate enough to have ice dance allocated training time, but I know as a coach of singles or I've choreographed pairs and skated ice dance, I know that the other disciplines don't want to share with the ice dancers.
No, no
and
kidding.
I get it.
Yeah, holy. Yeah. No, that's asking. That's like going on the highway the wrong direction. You do not want to do that. Okay, here we go. Group number 2.
And opening this second group, Kristina Dobrosardova and Alessandro Pellegrini. Alessandro turned 23 on Thursday, celebrating his birthday in Beijing at the Skate to Milano Olympic qualifier. And we saw success for Armenia in the pairs event, hoping to have success for themselves too as they skate to the unforgivable and dancing leaves. the top left-hand corner, you might just get an insight into what the judges felt of the performance in the free dance for Kristina Dobrosardova and Alessandro Pellegrini representing Armenia. They share a hug at the end of that performance, but there were a few red-coloured boxes and grey-coloured boxes on their tech score, and that indication there were some negative grades of execution.
And the one most visible was that, you know, step out on the twizzles.
For those that aren't as familiar with the sport of ice dance, oh gosh, the skater, Sophia and Deval, the skater's just stepping on the ice, so just a little ball coming out the ice. But anyway, back to Kristina and Alessandro. They, as an ice dance team, want to come off the ice having had no visible mistakes, of course, and I just felt that there was a little bit of push-pull, a little bit of clutch and grab, and it just wasn't the seamless, comfortable performance that they would have ideally hoped for, of course, but you can see the passion and the intensity in these slow-mo shots they gave to the performance.
And here's a look at the twizzles. Grab the blade, feature, and she falls out, has to put the other foot down. This takes, wow. Oh no, it's a level 4 for Alessandro. No level for Kristina.
It's the choreographic spinning movement, that one of the 7 different options of choreographic element for the team. I think maybe the first choreographic spinning movement choice. Those 3 choreographic elements for the ice dancers in the senior free dance is all based on grade of execution, and the judges have criteria to give anywhere between -5 and +5. As we see their straight line lift, and look at the elegance of Kristina in the lift, gorgeous awareness of the arm line, and that again, she's got very expressive hands.
Nice.
Yeah. See, totally invested, and that plays into the presentation component score. The way in which they look engaged and committed to the performance. For Kristina and Alessandro, I actually think their body control and their skating skills is as good as skaters. This performance, though, little clutching moments will have forced the judges to drop the skating skills.
And you'll see that reflected in the score here. They have a season's best or a personal best of 81.45. They're going to fall quite short of that on this day. Let's take a look at the free dance scores for Kristina and Alessandro. 72.84. That is 5th in the free dance. And a total competition score of 125.11. That'll put them overall, at least for the moment, in the 4th place. Not a lot of reaction there.
Wishing them the best for the rest of the season.
Our next skaters represent Poland.
And now to the Polish ice dancers, Sofia Deval and Victor Kolesza. This is their first full season as seniors. And they, a team so invested in their own material as well, choreographically, as they get ready to skate a free dance to the Westworld soundtrack.
Mark, I thought that was a great performance. This team didn't struggle between each other. It was seamless from one element to the next, woven through the fabric of the performance. It was beautiful.
And we're starting to get perhaps the benefits of a team that have had a partnership for multiple seasons. Sofia Duval and Victor Kulesza representing Poland. This now, well, certainly we have seen them for 3 seasons already in the Junior Grand Prix. I'm not sure when they formed this partnership at first, but we're seeing the fruits of all of those years of training now, being able to then showcase a greater bond in their unity of movement together.
Yeah, this is the best we've seen this team, and it's taking that long for all these teams to sort of skate as one. And that was really nice because they had some intricate transitions, but they were never, it didn't appear they're struggling.
And I think, you know, we're seeing the benefits of them being a partnership for a long time, but even when we first saw this team, I really think that Sofia and Victor showcased such respect to one another, and we've said it before when we've seen them and commentated on them. I think it's born from the respect that their coach gives them. Sylvia Novak Trabaka greets them off the ice, and she seems so mindful of supporting them as humans and supporting them as skaters as well, because this year they've brought Olympic champion Charlie White and his team on board as well to try to give them all of the opportunities to keep moving up in the international rankings as we see the opening stationary lift. There was just a slight mismatch on the twizzle with the free leg extension there at the beginning. I wanted either one to cross or one to hold the coupe. There, a little bit of a nod to, I think, Madison Hubble and Zachary Donahue in that amazing straight line lift into rotational lift, the combo that they showcased there. Twizzles. I love the exit of the twizzles, the back outside edge for Sofia, the sustained back outside edge. Not sure if we'll see that in the replay, but that was super cool. And then for Sofia and Victor Ted, it's just, the material is great, the partnership is great. It's just like continuing to elongate every stroke, every touch of the ice. When their blade leaves the ice, just keep lengthening the pushes so that their speed and ice coverage increase and increase. And the pattern of this free dance over the course of the season will just grow and grow, and that's what's going to make them competitive.
So the basics are good, it's the details that need some work.
Yeah, absolutely, and just taking the material that they've got at this point in the season and expanding the pattern of that program so that the components and the skating skills can push up towards the 7s. This team in the 6s at present out of 10, wanting to kind of make very clear in their fundamentals that they're worthy of getting 7s, because that will help them to elevate to the next echelon.
The scores, please.
Well, let's take a look at the free dance scores for Sofia and Victor.
Sofia Duval and Victor Kulesza.
85.31. That is first in the free dance so far with a total competition score of 141.74 as they take the lead.
First place.
They look pretty happy with that. Certain progress has been made.
Our next skaters represent.
Now to the first of the skaters who has already had the Olympic experience, Maria Kazakova, now with new partner Vladislav Kaczynski. Such a new team, but they're hoping to grow together. 2 athletes who met, who both love ice dance, and now walking this path unitedly as they skate to Buongiorno Principessa.
listen to a word they say, 'cause life is beautiful that way. Here in his eyes forevermore, I will always be as close as you remember from before. Now that you're out there on your own, remember what is real and what we dream is love alone.
Well, we are seeing now just a different level of skating
Yeah.
skill. It's their first competition together for Georgia's Maria Kazakova and Vladislav Kaczynski. First event together, but when your skating skills are fundamentally
Yeah.
so much better, this
I would not
differently.
guess that until you just said it. Now I understand it, but I couldn't see that there in the program because they were really good.
Yeah.
It didn't look like this was brand new, first time out.
And you know, when we're referencing about, for those that don't know the sport, it's perhaps hard to define what separates teams. But maybe as we see the replays, you'll just see so much greater tactility to the ice, so much deeper in their knees and their ankles and their edges. So their starting base point for what the judges have to work with comes from a much greater place than anything that we have seen thus far in the event. Mateo Zani and Katarina Müller doing such brilliant work. One of the great European ice dance schools.
Smile without a reason why.
And as we see the curve lift, you know, Maria, as I said, an Olympian already. Vladislav has had success too with other partnerships previously, but they've acknowledged that they just both love ice dancing, and there's so much life sacrificed to be back out here competing again. But maybe now with this partnership, although it's very, very early, they have the joy to bring to enjoy this experience perhaps more than any they've had before. As we see the choreo slide. And I'm raving obviously about this comparative to others. It's still a new partnership. It's still, you know, early in their formation.
But I think they would feel that this was a good start. It's early on, but that's pretty good. If
Yeah,
that's,
the ingredients that they've got pave the way for the future success that they'll hopefully be able to enjoy. Should they have, you know, we've seen other teams that have been together longer.
Yeah.
This team's so new, they know what's necessary.
But they've got a lot of the core already done with other partners.
Yeah.
Now just now getting used to each other and working as one. We'll see their score in a moment. 84.90 is their personal best in the free dance. Their score here looks to be above that, so that would be a great start.
And, you know, Matteo and Katarina, they are such great coaches in the work that they do, so they'll steer them and continue to support them. And interesting that they've wanted to return, having been competitively successful, they want to return to that stable of coaches because they know they can give them what they need.
Season's best at 89.25. That puts them in first place in the free dance with a total competition score now of 148.78, and also will put them into first place overall, at least at this stage of the competition.
大家报完和马歇斯基最终得分为80.25分，刷新赛季最好成绩，总得分为148.78分，目前排名第一位。
Our next skaters represent Italy.
And now to the Italian team of Giulia Isabella Paolino and Andrea Tuba, 12th after the rhythm dance. And now skating to the wonderful Gladiator soundtrack with the track Now We Are Free. Just such incredibly rousing music, and the small audience that is here reacting to that and the performance of the Italian team, Giulia Isabella Paulino and Andrea Tiuba.
You know, as I watched this team, I wondered, you know, the drama of the music and the build-up, the crescendo. Is it possible to, obviously, it's possible to underdo that as a performance, or is it possible to overdo that as a performance? Because it requires a certain amount. You hear it in the voices of the singers, and you can see it in the bodies of the skaters. It doesn't match.
Yeah, and with Giulia and Andrea, for me, this team, they've had the pressure, as we saw perhaps in the American pairs event, for being the coveted team to get this spot, to represent the nation and fight. And for Giulia and Andrea, they have deserved their spot here, representing Italy at the Skates to Milano event. And now they want to go on, as this season progresses, to get the second spot for Italy at Europeans and Worlds. As this ice dance event unfolds, and the Olympic spots look likely out of their grasp, now their objective is to still be the Italian team selected for the championship level events.
Yeah, and I want to be clear, I didn't mean this in relationship to this team. I heard the music was so powerful, so emotional, so powerful, and you saw that in their dance, for sure. You saw it all.
And actually, the passion that we see in Giulia and Andrea right here, unsurprising when you have Valteresa and Brunilde Bianchi and Stefania De Luca as the coaching staff, and Italian dancers so renowned for their passion. But there are lots of ice dance teams in Italy currently with that level of brilliance. And I think for Andrea, just keeping working on his range of movement, his flexibility, so that he can match the line and shape that Giulia makes in terms of the extensions and shape through the back and the body.
Now, their personal best 96.42. We'll see how close they come to that. But I thought that was a pretty strong performance for them.
Absolutely.
The scores, please.
Free dance score. Just waiting.
They had Massimo Scali as well for the curve for this year. The Italians out in force.
98.48, that's first with the free dance, and even Bolter's nodding his head going, yeah, that's pretty good. With a 158.52 total score for the competition, and that'll put them currently in the first place.
Good job, team. Now the rest of the season awaits.
Good 10-point lead.
Yeah.
Our next skaters represent Cyprus.
And now to Angelina Kudratseva and Ilya Karenkovic. Their free dance, a love story. Autumn leaves, and a man in the autumn of his life remembering the girl he fell in love with at first sight. Life circumstances constantly separate them, but despite problems, they choose each other.
The fallen leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear a winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. start to fall.
A beautiful free dance from Cyprus's Angelina Kudratseva and Ilya Karankovic. And it was interesting, Ted, in our discussion through this performance, how we would perhaps both view this. For me, what I am immediately seeing for this team in regards to the competition is skating skill and skating technique. We saw it with Maria Kazakova, the Georgian skater, seeing it now here. I'm just seeing that they're giving the judges the use of knee and ankle and edge to facilitate the good components, and the judges are going to like it.
Yeah, and for me, you know, not looking at all the technical detail of the dance itself, does it take me somewhere? Did the music, you know, as you're driving down the highway and you're paying attention to what you're doing, hopefully, and you're listening to a piece of music, but it takes you back in time, or it takes you to a memory, or it takes you to a wonderful place. Did it take you somewhere? And in ice dance, quite often these teams can take you somewhere. It was a beautiful piece of music,
yeah,
heartfelt. Technically, maybe there were some little things that audience wouldn't see, but did they feel? Does the audience feel? And that's what I think was so special about this aspect of the sport.
Autumn leaves.
You can look at the match and the alignment of their bodies. Probably the best match between the partners of all that we have seen thus far. Love this, the transitional exit from their twizzles.
The sunburned high.
The way in which the blade leaves the ice, it is so important. As we see the straight line lift, and actually he rose, he had the difficult level in the spread eagle, that's getting the level, but then he rose up and down out of that spread eagle with the musical accent, which was so cool. And this choreographic lift, so no level assigned, it's all about creative execution, and Angelina doing all she can to ensure that the judges give her more positive features.
It's cute, right at the end.
Closing the story of a couple in love at the end. As we see the scores, the dance spin has just been assigned a level 2, and their twizzles just a level 2. So, and just a level 1 for the 1-foot turns for Angelina. So the technical panel.
Yeah, the sport part of this is they're paying a little bit of the price on that.
Yeah, so from a components perspective, for me, this was the strongest. But from a technical perspective, it could see them, their lead being jeopardized.
And you know, and that's
Matteo saying the twizzles were like, so he maybe he's going to be in agreement with the technical panel for those level 2s rather than the 4s they wanted.
And here's the free dance score, 95.44. That is second in the free dance. You can see Matteo is going, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
it's there, it's true. 156.31, and that'll put Angelina and Ilya currently in the second place overall after 2 groups. There's always lots to talk about in ice dance, isn't there?
And it's really interesting to hear your perspective as well as to how you view the event, and then obviously interested to know how the complete non-skaters perceive what we have just seen. And then for me, you know, who spent so many years trying to get the points, thinking of a very points-based perspective.
And now with a new open mind of the ISU and Vision 2030, how will this sport and this art and this entertainment, because it's all together, sport, art, and entertainment, and ice dance particularly, how will that evolve? Or should it evolve? We'll see. Years to come. Decisions to be made, that's for sure. We're going to take a short break, Mark. During the ice resurfacing, we'll be back with group number 3 and 4. And then the Olympic spots will be determined. We'll be back.
在自然里，自然的喧嚣也有口音。翻过一座山，探寻另一种景色。这里没有万里的烦恼，只有天上画的繁星，为我们指引方向。无论你在哪里，在做什么，自然都有诚挚的邀请与摩西河一起奔赴自然。
好的，现场的观众朋友们，刚刚看完了精彩的比赛，接下来是为大家送福利的时间了。那么接下来，我想邀请我们全场的观众朋友们看向大屏幕，我们一起来玩一个表情包挑战。那么这个表情包挑战呢，我们即将会送出由国际华联官方合作伙伴国西河提供的精美 T 恤一件。那这个礼品即将花落谁家？让我们现在看向大屏幕，一起来寻找全场的观众朋友们，谁能跟随这个表情包模仿的又准确又积极。好，那现在我们的观众朋友们已经可以看到我们的表情包了，这是一个竖大拇指的表情包，没错，就是像这位女士做的这样，很好。那么让我们继续来生活。想要得到奖品的观众朋友们，让我们的摄影师看到你们好吗？可以挥挥手，竖起你的大拇指。那接下来是一双手向太阳穴，这么一个动作。没错，做非常到位，连表情都做得很准确，我们这位朋友做得很好，非常恭喜你得到了我们国际华联官方合作伙伴国际河提供的 T 恤件，也非常感谢大家的互动。那么我们下一个互动环节再见。
Welcome back, everyone, to Beijing. And the final day of competition, the free dance is up. The last two groups. I'm Ted Barton along with Mark Hanratty. Two groups have skated. Mark, what can we expect in the final two?
Well, with the penultimate group, there's potential for some of these athletes to put themselves in contention for the 4 Olympic spots available in this Skate to Milano competition. That said, irrespective of whether or not the teams are vying for Olympic spots or not, everybody here hoping to represent themselves and, more importantly, their nation as well as they can. As we see, Ukrainian team, Maria Pinchuk and Nikita Pogorelyov.
Representing Israel,
And now to the Israeli representatives, Shira Ichilov and Mikhail Nosovitsky.
representing Ireland, Caroline Sotis and Shane Harris.
Certainly very much representing the nation. Ireland, Katalin Sissis and Shane Furus.
Representing Hungary,
The Hungarians, Maria Ignateva and Daniil Zemko.
representing the People's Republic of China.
And the greatest crowd reaction undoubtedly will go to Shiyu Wang and Jinyu Liu.
Skaters, your 5-minute boarding begins now.
运动员现在正进行5分钟的设置。
So within this group, as I say, potential for teams to be in Olympic spot contention. So for the highest placed team in this group, Wang and Liu, their 67.59 finds them just a point and a half off of 4th place, remembering that there are 4 teams that will guarantee a spot to the Olympic Games.
So, Mark, just a question. Do the teams in front of you have to make a mistake in order for you to climb above that? I know that's a really broad question, I get that, but it's hard in ice dance to visually see when things go wrong unless there's a fall, unless there's a loss of a hand or a lift comes down, or et cetera, et cetera. So how easily can a dance team move without visible mistakes?
It's a great question, Ted, and this was when earlier today we were talking about how we chatted to Barbara Pusarpoli, who herself was a former world champion. She's an Olympic medalist and now a coach of world medalists too. And she was saying that she hopes everybody skates well and that then the best team go. Now, if everybody skates at their best, then it is obviously down to the judges and grades of execution and the component scores. Now, for these teams on the ice currently, there are such clear criteria. There are lots of rules, but there are clear criteria to help achieve more points. And so then it's the positive features that I keep referencing. Things like good quality, correctness, cleanness, deepness and sureness of edges, smoothness and effortlessness. And the list goes on, but the judges have to know their criteria. And so the skaters that will be vying to take the top 4 spots to get an Olympic participation, they need to get, they're looking really for +3s. So +3, I think, on the grades of execution will put you in contention.
And I think it's important for the fans out there watching this on television and on live stream and whatnot, not to worry about the details. There are a lot of rules, we know that, you just said that, and the judges are extremely well trained on that, and so is the technical panel. And it's impossible for just a viewer, or even us, even though we know skating, to see every single detail. It's important for us to enjoy the performance and have our favorite performance. That's the great thing about this, is you can just be entertained and enjoy it and say, oh, I like that team the best. But the judges and the rules that have been designed by the technical committee of the ice dance and the technical panel, they are the ones that know the detail of the sport, and they are the ones that will make those decisions.
And I think if we're giving an indication to those watching of what is likely to achieve success from the judges, I haven't referenced the skating skills. Generally, the team that covers the ice with the most speed and confidence, as a vast generalization, you see the fastest, most confident team out there, then their component scores probably in line to be the best.
Yeah. So, my message to the people out there: don't stress out. Enjoy the
I'll stress out.
That's going to be your job.
Yeah.
My job is to talk about, oh, that was really great, right? So.
And it is interesting because, as I don't know if I would say experts in the field, but like as fans of the sport and participants of the sport for so many years, even we can find ourselves watching an ice dance event with a different vibe. I can sometimes watch, I remember when I was watching a world championship and I did literally just enjoy the brilliance of all the teams. But then, there are occasions when it's really quite stressful for the judges to give real clarity on how am I going to ascertain each of these inputs into the system.
Is it fair to say that the enjoyment level of a viewer, or even a skating person like us, doesn't necessarily equal to what they did as a sport? Technically,
completely.
Okay.
I love watching ice dance, but if I consider how am I best to describe this result, then I have to be laser focused on my rules and my criteria.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
And,
my-
and the technical panel is, and so are the judges. So the point is, don't stress about that.
Yeah.
Let's just enjoy this.
Yeah.
Not you. You have to stress. The viewers,
Well,
just enjoy.
You know, and when it's as coveted as this is, we're here, skate to Milano. We're in a former Olympic venue trying to secure spots and placements at the next Olympic venue. It is high, intense pressure. All 10 skaters out there have given their life to these moments. It's massive. And for the judges and the tech panel, their decisions will define that. And so, you know, even as we look ahead to the Olympic Games in Milano, to me, it could be a step level. It could be the 1-foot turns, one of the elements, mandatory required elements for the senior free dancers. It could be a step level that will make the decision between Olympic medals.
Yeah, and one of the things we've been doing in the juniors, listening to the technical panel, which do such a wonderful job and trying to give that communication to the audience to understand it is very efficient with what they do. You don't have access to it yet, and you haven't heard it yet, but it's extremely professional. Okay, here we go. Enough of that. Let's get going here. Group number 3, the free dance. Day number 3 here in Beijing.
And now, the first team to skate in this penultimate group, Ukrainians Maria Pinchuk and Mikita Pogorelyov. This free dance is about the story of Enzo Ferrari. The team came up with this idea together with coach Matteo Zani, and they're both passionate about Formula One and legendary motorsport.
My name is Enzo. Enzo Ferrari.
But it's given him the victory that gives him the lead in the World Championship.
As though Villeneuve is past. Look at that reaction.
Without reticence, without hesitation.
Ask a child to draw a car, and certainly
draw it red.
Fantastic job from you, Michael, as well. Beautiful fly.
My name is Enzo. Enzo Ferrari.
Maria Pinchuk and Mikita Pogoryov, and you can see a little disappointed perhaps with the performance. She had a really bad fall a couple of weeks ago, and that forced them out of the Bolero Cup in Sheffield. And so they've had an intense couple of weeks. They then had to compete for this spot at the Lombardia Trophy last week. And as I said in the rhythm dance, they only found out they would be competing here just days ago. Now, the work is done. They have done their job. I don't think it was the dream skate that they were hoping for. However, for me, Ted, I don't know about you, but I love the fact that as Formula One fans, they've come up with the concept, you know, a great soundtrack. It made me want to watch the film. It made me want to go and check out
that's
the
a good
plot.
point. That's a good point. It did. But you wonder, you know, because there's a lot of vocal in that, telling the story. And did they connect? And I'd be interested in other people's opinions on this. Did their skating connect to the story that you heard in the voice and the music? And we saw a lot of car type of, you know, moves.
Well, it's interesting because initially with the stationary lift, what an amazing way to showcase, you know, the Formula One car, and then through the 1-foot turns, that was the second element. You could see this, so he's, you know, driving the car as the entry into the stationary lift, you know, taking their body, taking the rules and the requirements that they needed within the elements to showcase the concept of car driving. However, then later, it becomes more about the relationship and the partnership. So then I'm thinking of the film, and I'm thinking a little plot synopsis is about the connection between Enzo Ferrari and his mistresses, and I'm thinking, okay, well that makes sense now because they've disconnected from the car thematic and more about the relationship and the passion and intention between Maria and Mikita and their movements. So
okay, for you, they carried that off.
I did go and check very quickly during the performance a little Google synopsis of the film. So they did give me the sense of, oh, they're storytelling now about something different. So yes.
Okay.
And the synopsis of the film corroborates what I think I saw.
Well, it's a great thing about dance is that there's a new show every team. There's a new show, and knowing the story and feeling, yeah, they got the story, it connected to it, I'm in it, right, or not. So that's the value for the fans, and that's what I find most fascinating about ice dance. It's not the sports side, that's left up to the technical panel and to the judges, all the details, and yourself. But as a fan here, I'm connected. Well, cool story, cool idea. I saw that. Oh, that didn't connect for me. Or, you know, those types of things.
If I go sport-wise, I think Maria and Mikita, you could tell that they've still not had the optimal prep. It was not as much speed and flow as the likes of the others, but contextually more difficult than others.
Let's take a look at the scores. 91.70 is the season's best. That is third, though, in the free dance. The total competition score of 153.81, and that'll put them, keep them, for the moment at least, into third place. That's the first sort of drop that we've seen. Right? Usually as we move down the list, they stay in first, but not in this case.
And now to the newest of all the pairings, representing Israel, Shira Ichilov and Mikhail Nosovitsky. And they will be skating to the wonderful track by Muse, Exogenesis Symphony. Ted, the whole way through that performance, I was just trying to assess my thoughts because it's such a new partnership, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around how we can have seen this level of quality and this level of passion from a team that have only been together 5 months. And they both had competitive experience. They both experienced world championships before, but I think the combination of Shira Ishilov and Mikhail Savitsky could lead to their greatest success.
Sometimes the relationship just clicks.
Yeah.
It just works. And sometimes that partnership just works right off the bat. And I think in this case, we see a lot of that.
And their theme for this free dance was about starting over, a new beginning with two souls that found each other and have the same vision, and that reflection of how they feel about this partnership. And, well, I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it was great.
And
they took you somewhere.
Yeah, they really did. I suppose so often I feel like an ice dance is the years that the partnering has together that develops the success. And we see that at the elite level, the World Championships. It's time that makes for success. But with this partnering, it was almost the newness that brought the greatest aspect to it, the kind of freshness and the passion, the novelty of this pairing. That said, when we look at the slow-mo replay, they match very, very well, which defies the fact that they've been together just 5 months. And Shira Ishilov just hits beautiful line, such range and strength to extend as she does. Great feet.
And Mikhail handles her so well in lifts.
And I do think, I remember Mikhail having partnered with his twin sister, and they did a great job as well, but I feel like maybe because you've had a partnership with your sister before, you kind of give a different energy with a different partner, and you sense that exploit there. You don't do that with your sister. Yeah. I mean, you do if you have to as an ice dancer, but it's genuine connection. Oh, some of these are lovely shots.
Well, I know they're much better shots today. It's beautiful. And this is what makes the sport so wonderful to watch and feel as a viewer when you get those types of shots and inside the performance, not from afar.
You know, Ted, though, when I'm looking at the component scores and I'm panicking about how to justify all the scores compatible with the leaders and the components are virtually identical. So it's very hard to differentiate.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Free dance score, 95.10. That is third in the free dance. Now we're starting to see a little shifting here and there. The total competition score of 157.65, and that'll put Shira and Mikhail currently into second place. Now we see some movement. We didn't really see any movement in the first two groups, changes of position, but now as we get closer to those Olympic positions, it takes on a new meaning.
So from one team so new to one another to a partnership, they have been together 9 years. Caroline Soucis and Shane Virus, and they are so proud to represent Ireland. They couldn't think of anything more suitable for their free dance this year. The track, Reel Around the Sun, home and the heartland. Ireland's Caroline Soucis and Shane Peterson. You can hear the reaction to the crowd, and the music, of course, so encouraging to ignite a crowd in any continent. It is a passionate, brilliant piece, rousing audiences, and a great vehicle for obviously the couple so proud to represent Ireland and so eager to become the first Irish ice dance team at the Winter Olympic Games. That said, there were little wobbles and mistakes that were going to make it difficult to achieve the technical element score, at least, that they aspire to achieve.
Yeah, you can't miss with that music from an audience perspective. They get into it. It's just got such wonderful rhythm and feeling to it, and excitement.
And a great, I mean, an absolute perfect vehicle for this team in their finals competitive season.
And their PCs right now looking at that sort of high sixes, mid to high sixes, one composition, of course, at 7.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd go higher on the composition, skating skills, a little less elongated in each of their strokes than perhaps that of the others that we have seen thus far. Here, where a mistake was made, fine through the first twizzle. And here, the left back outside was the problem. And then again, spinning I'd lose the grip C, the third one, and yeah, it's a level 1. It's a shame. Fingertip extension on point, Caroline, even green fingernails. That's the detail that they are committed to in regards to the team of this choice. Stationary lift. And using the full length of the ring for their choreographic character step sequence. That totally befitting.
Having been together for so long and just recently got married and pursuing this dream, an Olympic dream. And this is their moment here in Skate to Milano. Let's take a look at the score. They have a 110 personal best score. I think they'll fall short on that.
The interesting, Caroline, as we see the 93.89, just almost a sense saying to Shane, it's not about this now, just share a kiss with him. Yeah, connected before the scores came out, that was important.
158.42 total score, that is second overall at the moment. Yeah. 1 point.
Our next skaters represent Hungary.
And now, to the Hungarian team, Maria Enyateva and Daniil Zemko, another team that competed at the Lombardia Trophy last week. They had a 96-point score there. That will help them stay ahead in this event thus far, but hoping to move up in the rankings. And their coach, Barbara Fusser-Pole, said that they had to fight for their spot if they are to become Olympians.
Come to my garden, come play with me, come to my garden.
question. Would you die for me?
Yes.
How was I to know? It's a crazy thing. I showed you my hand, and you still let me win.
But you called my bluff and saw through all my tells. And then you went all in, and we left together. And I know you think that what makes a king is gold, a palace and diamond rings. When I fold, you see the best in me, the Joker and the Queen. And I know you could fall for the best in me, the Joker and the Queen, the Joker and the Queen.
Maria Inateva and Dania Zemko, and you can see what it means. This couple have competed in every World Championship since the last Olympic Games, and they've been hovering around the qualifying placements. On 24th, just outside the free dance qualification for the World Championships in Boston. They are so desperate to try to achieve Olympic qualification, Europeans and Worlds in every year since the Beijing Games. Now here in Beijing, wanting to move up the rankings to compete in Milano. In Milano, in the ring, they actually train in the venue where the next Olympic Games will take place. They want to have their training rink become the rink where they get the line as Olympians. And it would seem so cruel to a team that train in the venue not to be in the venue next February.
What do they need?
Well, we obviously have to wait to see what will transpire. They need top 4. Barbara Puzapoli greets them off the ice. They've got a score of 105.7. That would obviously have them maintain their position thus far as the leaders. But they're needing to push the biggest scores that they've ever achieved to be able to move up, because they have work to do in regards to the placement following the rhythm dance. As we see, you know, we talked about the commitment to the costuming for the green nails for the Lord of the Dance for the Irish team, the green hair for Daniil Zemko, commitment to the Joker concept for this, a free dance that they've used before. It's when the discussion becomes Olympic Games that it just gets so much more intense and high pressure.
Well, that's why it's one of the greatest sporting events known to man. So, you know, every person, every athlete dreams to be there.
And look, every iota of their being, every essence, every fiber of their being wants this.
Give us our place, we deserve it.
Oh gosh, well, he's saying give us our place, we deserve it, so we need to see. No, there's a few more people to come.
Yes, yes. Yeah, even if they
He's making a statement. He's doing what he needs to do. He's saying his statement.
If they take the lead here, good. They've done their work, but it's up to others after this.
But it just shows you, though, all of these teams want their place. You know, there are only 4 available.
Well, they wouldn't be here. They want it. They want it.
And now we're entering into the different conversation. Previously, we've been referencing perhaps personal bests, Europeans, World Championships, because some of the teams thus far have known that they're not really in contention. Now we're entering into contention point.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the scores for the free dance.
They had a 96 last week.
Tension in the kiss and cry. It's a season's best, 103.15. That is first in the free dance. Barbara trying to pump them up there with a total competition score of 167.73. And that puts this team currently in the lead. They've done what they had to do at this point of the competition. It'll be up to others now.
And if Barbara's happy, I think I'd be happy.
Yeah. She said at the closing, "You did your job."
Yeah. So yesterday, in this National Indoor Stadium in Beijing, the Chinese audience saw their pair team achieve qualification for the Olympic Games. They saw their women representative achieve qualification for the Olympic Games. Can this venue, this audience, help Shi Yu Wang and Jinyu Liu to repeat as Olympians for the 3rd time as they get ready to skate to Batman?
Wow. That was intense.
Well, Xiyu Wang and Zhenyu Liu, you can see what this means to them. As I mentioned, these skaters are already Olympians. Twice they have competed at the Winter Olympic Games again, but you can see with the reaction to the conclusion of that free dance just what it means to them to try to be Olympians for a third time, exploiting their vast vocabulary of previous performances. They've been competing at World Championships for over a decade and utilizing some of the elements and transitional content that we have seen them use in previous seasons.
And you know, in the field of ice dance, you don't think of the theme Batman.
No.
You know, it's not dancey, but they made it. They made their own dance.
Yeah, and you know, the Ice Academy in Montreal, just so brilliant at continually finding new concepts and delivering the concept with such sincerity. It's so believable. It's not just take new music and new costuming. There is
and creativity.
Yeah. And Marie-France Debreu, the choreographer assigned to their work this season. I just, for me, I mean, I'm reluctant to say it because they look so relieved and overjoyed, but I thought there were times when Zhenyu Liu looked fatigued and there were a couple of places where there was just a bit of 2-foot gliding, and I just started to think that the components maybe were diminishing a little. But maybe that's because, you know, this is a team that we've seen before, so there's a comparison with the great success they've been just outside the World Championships.
This was great.
I mean,
a great opening.
You've got to give great creative execution to that. It commands it. That straight line lift absolutely justifies it. As
well, 2.61, they're adding 2.61 to that one element through the quality. There's the twizzles.
Just thinking that the slow motion is added to the twizzles there and replay doesn't help the GOE. You just start to see that a little bit out of sync.
Their PC score is currently in the mid-sevens.
As I say, movement that we've seen from them in the past, delivered with even greater sincerity and commitment.
They will need to be in first place after these scores to have a chance. There are 4 teams to come.
One more. So, 6th place, 67.59 in the rhythm dance. They have a fairly comfortable lead above those that have gone before them.
So 101.24, that's second in the free dance. And the total competition score is a 168.83. So that will, for the moment at least, put them into first place. 5 teams to come.
They have to wait to see if they can repeat as Olympians again. They have to move up above 2 more teams for that to be achieved. Oh, it's close between the top 2.
Let's welcome our final group of ice dancers to the ice.
Down to the wire now, Mark.
And now the final group takes to the ice. The Spanish team of Sofia Val and Asaf Kazimov, trying to become the 2nd Spanish team at the Games in Milano. As we see the Japanese couple of Yutana Yoshida and Masaya Morita.
Representing Sweden, Nina Britan and Nikolai Nairo.
And then potentially the surprise performance of the rhythm dance. In 3rd place, Mila Raitan with Olympian in singles, Nikolai Mayarov. Less surprising though, the top 2 placements after the rhythm dance, Holly and Jason, Harris and Chan, casually struck out to take their place.
Representing Lithuania, Alison Reed and Salius Ambrosius.
And now, it is no surprise to see Alison Reed and Salius Ambrosius leading the field, but the reaction to their scores in the rhythm dance show that despite all of the expectations, you know, everybody that knows the world of ice dance will have assumed Alison and Sarlace would win this event based on previous scores. But yet Alison's reaction to finding out they were in the lead just shows they're not taking anything for granted. Yeah. They've had the experience of surprise disappointment. Do not want to jeopardize the chance at all.
Yeah, you can never become complacent in any sport.
So we have seen already in this event teams that have been Olympians that want to repeat. We have seen teams that have stated, give us our place, we deserve it. But of the number of teams still left to skate, still one couple on the ice now won't get the ticket. And it's just too much to handle. It's just
well, you can't, and the thing is, you cannot have a very big visible mistake. It's going to take you down.
No, that's just the thing, and you're so right, Ted. There is literally no room for error now.
Yeah.
The only team that theoretically could have a wibbly wobble would be Alison and Sarlace. They've got that 7.5 point lead, but I think for them, they want to have the convincing title win as well, of course.
It's just the spots 3 and 4 have to skate clean. They can't have a big mistake.
Well, what's crazy is that the difference in points between the team that you see on screen now, Yutano Yoshida and Masaya Morita, is less than 2/10. And then just a point then separates them from the Spaniards in 5th. What an amazing story though for this team. Mila Raitan and Nikolai Mayrov. He was here in this city 3.5 years ago competing at the Winter Olympic Games in singles skating. And with Tatiana Flade, we've been trying to ascertain how many decades it has been since a figure skater competed at the Olympics in 2 separate disciplines. Maybe some people online can help us out. I think that there were those in the maybe 1920s that achieved that, but we're talking decades, maybe centuries.
But are you talking singles and dance or singles and pairs? Because that's probably more likely.
Yeah, we need help. A call out.
Okay.
We've been on the microphone for such a long time. There's not been a window of opportunity to establish quite those stats. But nevertheless, what Nikolai Mayrov may achieve if he's to maintain the bronze medal position that he and partner are in currently is an incredible achievement.
And as you mentioned, you know, he transitioned from singles to dance so smoothly. You don't think of him as, you have to read that because you don't think of him, you don't see him as a single skater in this event.
No, and it's amazing what he has done stylistically. That said, now, coming to assess all of the teams on the ice currently, the criteria with which the judges have to assign scores to these skaters are the same for singles and ice dance. The skating skills are judged under the same criteria across all disciplines. But there's no doubt that if you're an ice dance aficionado, there's a certain stylization which is recognized and appreciated by the judging community. Ooh. The intel has come in.
Okay.
Stephen Carr from Australia, pairs and singles.
Yes.
And the same games, I think.
Really?
Yeah. So the question then, maybe, I mean, that's quite incredible. Shout out to Stephen Carr. Kudos to you. I was about to make a statement that may be disrespectful to different disciplines. Pairs and singles, I've seen that done internationally more readily than singles and dance or pairs and dance.
Yes, that's correct. You don't often see the transition pairs to dance, or really at all, or singles to dance, yes, which is what we're witnessing here today.
So a weighting of value of how incredible that feat is. Stephen Carr, the same Olympics though.
Yeah, that's
pretty impressive.
What year?
1994 in Lillehammer.
Oh, wow. I was there, actually. Should have known that.
Well,
there we go.
And that's just the first fact to come in, the first intel to come in. So
yeah.
We'll see. There might be more to come. But for Nikolai Mayarov, he wants to give the Olympic experience to his girlfriend as well. The partnership on and off the ice.
Well, right now they're sitting in third place, and it's a big moment coming up.
Our next skaters represent Spain.
Sofia Val and Asaf Kazimov start this final group. The concept for this, their free dance, a creation of AI. Sofia is an AI woman. Asaf is the creator, and the story is about the creation of AI and how it gets to learn the world and finally become something more and better than the creator. Spain's Sofia Val and Asaf Kazimov. Their coach, Sara Hurtado, had explained that she sensed the understandable nerves in practice. Just the curve lift, there was just a little bit of sketchiness there, and then coming out of the dance spin before the choreo character step, I thought there was a slight misstep, and we're talking fractional, tiny, tiny details, but perhaps the nerves that they feel, the reason for that tightness. And I thought Asaf seemed the calm one at the start, and then he tightened up a little bit, and Sofia carried them home. Oh.
Yeah, I thought the first half of the program was really solid, but then there was those little things. To some people, they may not be visible, but we saw the dismount on that lift, and it looked awkward. We'll have to take a look at that in the replay. Hopefully we'll see it. And how much will that count? A set of twizzles, both at level 4.
These were great.
With a plus GOE of 1.97, so that was a great addition to that base value.
And in terms of creative execution, they were closer than any other team that we've seen thus far. This, I mean, it's so cool, the curve lift. And there's a difficult entry, difficult position.
Let's just see if we see it. No, we don't see it.
We're getting arty shots, but not shots that give us a chance to do. As the technical panel are currently doing, they are having a review over what took place. And
4 elements under review.
And just, Ted, thinking about this, Sofia and Asaf, so desperate to become Olympians. I think choreographed a piece for Asaf and a former partner, fractional input, but that connection I've got with him just helps us to realize how many people have gone to behind these athletes to this point, none more so than now Sara Hurtado and Kirill Kalyavin. There's so much that has gone in to this moment, and it wants to be rewarded.
Yeah, you know, you see the two coaches in the kiss and cry right now, but to get these, when they started out as young, not even together, they started out as young people, it took a lot of people, parents included, coaches included, you know, learn to skate, all of that type of thing to get them here.
And, you know, Sofia Val, born in Madrid, wants so much. Now that Asaf has been assigned citizenship to wear the Spanish jacket at the Olympic Games in Italy in a few months' time. Now the music, that's the music that I now feel the fear.
The tension, yeah. It's the anticipation of, you know, joy or disappointment. And with these teams that are currently coming up in this group, it will be that.
The little lead that they have, currently Wang and Yu lead the field, but they didn't lead the free dance. It was the Hungarian team, I believe, that lead the free dance, so they only need 100.5.
Here is what they need to see. The numbers will tell the story. 101.97, that is second in the free dance, and a total competition score of 170.32, and that puts them for the moment into first place. Barely, but it does. And there it is.
Oh, now what's worse for them? To have done the free dance, to have to wait another 5 minutes to find out if they'll move into the top 4, because 4 teams.
Well, they did what they could do.
And now to Yotana Yoshida and Masaya Morita. This team have only done 1 World Championships before this event, less experienced than some of the others that we have seen already. But they want their Olympic spot as they skate to Violin Fantasy on Puccini's Turandot. See in the back of shot, Kathy Reed looking like she could barely move until the conclusion of the free dance of her students, Yutana Yoshida and Masaya Morita, a team that said that they acknowledge the pressure of this Olympic season, but confident that this experience will make them stronger. And they said that skating with confidence increases their chances of earning a spot, and they were determined to give everything, and everything they did. The program construction here different. Start with the choreographic character step sequence, a unique choice of first element, and to have the twizzles as the penultimate element, the 8th of the 9 elements in the free dance is risky. They committed to it. Oh.
So?
Well.
Well, there's a lot of elements under review. We have 6 elements, 6 out of 9, that the technical panel is looking at the replays in slow motion, checking every detail, because there were some question marks from this team that made the technical panel say, wow, we better look at that. That, you know, has an issue potentially. So
it was interesting because I saw Masaya Morita in the closing section. He looked like he was smiling to Yutana as if to say we can let go, and the music is so incredible. This music was, for me, always going to make me think of Zhu Zhen and Hong Bouzhou. How we were in China, the Chinese Olympic pair champions skated to this so brilliantly in the same color of costume. There's a comparison with it, and it's so rousing and passionate, but you almost can't give too much when a high pressure event like this, because you cannot risk overcooking anything.
Got to be just the right amount of energy for the performance.
The choreographic hydroglide. Oh, that's a nice smile between the pairing. And these so late in the program.
They're both at 4, so that's good. Plus GOE.
Yeah, testament to how well trained they must be. And actually, really living up to the pressure and scrutiny of a slow motion in regards to the synchronicity within that risky element. I actually think that we've seen, you know, potentially stronger skating skills than some of the other teams. So from a program components perspective, maybe they lose on that. But it is now so dependent upon what the panel think for the levels. At present, the 1 foot turns is a level 1 for Yutana, but a level 3 for Masaya. So that kind of balances that out, because we've seen 2s for the other teams from both partners. Oh, no.
Okay, we just have to wait. You can see the tension in the kiss and cry. Waiting for these scores, so critical. They're on the cusp.
This is the Olympic spot. This is the definition of some lives.
Season's best, 98.41, but that is 4th in the free dance, and that is going to be a problem. The total competition score, 167.63.
An Olympic. Now, they will hopefully get opportunity perhaps to compete in the team event, maybe. I'm trying to find positives here, but this must be crushing.
No, and look at that, almost essentially a tie, 167.73 and 167.63, 1/10 of a point. Wow.
And so now to the Swedish team, Mila Rud-Raitan and Nikolai Mayrov. As a couple off the ice, their choreographer Andrei Vaturi wanted to use the classic Romeo and Juliet, but coming up with a reverse, telling the story backwards like a rewind, starting from her death at the beginning of the program and tracing it back to their very first kiss.
giorno sai, per noi verrà la libertà di amarci qui senza limiti. E fiorirà il sogno a noi negato, si svelerà la noce nato ormai. Un giorno sai, per vivere la vita che ci sfugge qui. Un giorno sai, per vivere la vita che ci sfugge qui. La mare noi supererà gli ostacoli e le mare delle avversità, e ci sarà anche per noi nel un tempo in cui l'amore vincerà, un tempo in cui
Well, Mark, I just want to say from a non-ice dance aficionado position, that's me, this team is the best Swedish dance team I've ever seen, number one. Number two is forget about the singles thing that he did in Olympics here. I know that's, but they've been together for 3 years. There was no indication at all that this team had not been skating for 10 or 15 years. The connections, the transitions, every moment, and the emotion between the two of them, the skating skills. This is a very, very strong team, and I think they might even have another quad, another Olympic cycle in them. So I don't know what the score will be. That's just my opinion. I thought they were outstanding. What do I know?
Well, it's so interesting because Mila Röderaitan skates with such beautiful positioning, so kind of quintessential ice dance. And maybe that's the reason that Nikolai Mayorov has stylistically transformed so much from a single skater, but he doesn't look mismatched to her. They appear to complement, or indeed he just leads her, the lead follow, the connection between the two.
But his lifting ability, he always made every lift effortless. They didn't feel that he was actually lifting her. She just floated into his arms. That was really good. We'll have to see what the score is, but...
You know, the Romeo and Juliet, we've seen it abundantly in this discipline before. Maybe because we know there are a couple of the ice, it's just delivered with such sincerity, which, if we go sport considered, if we think about the points, then the commitment and the engagement that defines the judges' component score for presentation has been given. So we see their choreographic slide. I was worried that that wasn't sustained for quite long enough, but it's gone in the system, so it's all good.
Yeah, there are 5 elements under review, so some work being done by the technical panel, and that can change the scores for sure. I mean, my comments are just about overall impression, but the details getting worked out right now.
there, as their choreographer Andrea Avaturi had explained, the reverse of their story, taking a twist on the classic. He said it's an ode to life and to love, defeating death and reversing the flow of time.
Yeah, the Twizzles 2, level 2 and 4. So dropped a little bit right there. 1 and 2 in the 1 foot. This is tight. This is very close.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh.
But they have got that little bit of, oh no, I say little bit. They had only 0.07 of a point above 4th place, but now Yoshida and Morita are now down in 4th place. So,
okay, let's just figure out the result when we see it.
They need to see at least number 2 beside
Yes.
their name after the overall, and that will secure them a spot in Milan.
There you go. Simplification.
Yeah.
The total score has to have a 2 beside it, and then they have a spot.
I mean, for us, it's just too emotional and intense to even work our maths. Look how Rostislav Sinitsyn, the coach, he's just cool as a cucumber.
Well, on the outside.
Yeah, he's doing a very good job of fooling me.
Yeah.
I think they're intentionally delaying for suspense here.
No, come on. Let's see. The judge. Look, you see 0 out of 10 scores.
Oh my gosh, it's just changed. Scores have just changed again. The inputs are changing constantly.
Right.
What I thought would happen is,
The scores, please.
Oh, here we go. Jeez.
they're the first Swedish ice dance team to compete at Worlds since 1982. Can they compete
There
in
it
the
is,
games?
99.30. That is 4th in the free dance. Jeez, that number just changed. And it's a 168.60. That is overall 3rd place. So.
And there's scream in this arena is because now Shi Yu Wang and Jin Yu Liu from the home nation have secured their spot. They will be 3-time Olympians. Commiserations to the Swedish team.
Represent Australia.
Wow.
Owen Harris and Jason Chan.
So now to the final 2 teams in the Skate to Milano event. I've seen this free dance before. For the Australian national champions. Holly Harris and Jason Chan skating to Claire de Lune. High 10 for Holly Harris and Jason Chan. And they have waited, as I said, in the rhythm dance so long for this event. They have known since the Boston World Championships that they would have to do what they tried to do in the last Olympic cycle. They were so close to qualification for Beijing, missed out at last year's World Championships, the only team out of all those that qualified for the free dance not to get a ticket secured to Milano Cortina. But this free dance
looks
like
secure.
It will absolutely do it. The free dance that they used last season, electing tactically not to create new material because they knew that they had to be in peak form at this earlier part of the season. And a wise and smart move. And Jason just glancing across to Alison and Salius, their training mates, who go ahead next.
Well, they know what they have just done. They just don't know what the reward will be.
And, you know, as we said yesterday, pictures of them are around the building, around the hotels, around the arena, because they're predicted to get the spot. But that doesn't mean to say that there's not the same amount of adrenaline, nerves, and anxiety for these skaters as for the others that have less expectation of achieving the position. Gorgeous twizzles. Just the subtlety of a look to one another, so beautiful in this choreography by Jean-Luc Baker. Slightly out of sync here, but still safely through. Now the difficult entry into the rotational lift. And you can see here Holly expressing with her face, even though she's rotating at speed. And they're giving a whole different vibe in the curve lift. Brilliant shot. And I think for Holly and Jason, they train in the Ice Academy Montreal, which is the location of so many brilliant ice dance teams, but so many teams that have already secured their Olympic spot. For them now, you know, it must be challenging in the preparation for this event to be the ones that still have the work to do, to be a part of the bigger group going en masse.
But now
to the games in Italy.
Be the defining moment. We'll find out.
I don't feel as nervous now because I think this is a shoe-in. So
okay. Yeah, the last one was flipping around a lot, so I think we're a little bit more secure here. The free dance scores 110.15. That is first. Total competition score for Holly and Jason 183.50. They take first. They also take the Olympic spot.
And a personal best. So much brilliance for Holly and Jason in Beijing. And you can see what it means. Gorgeous, gorgeous moment.
The dream just came true for Holly and Jason.
Our final skaters represent Lithuania.
Well, in terms of what it takes to achieve Olympic qualification, you feel that Lithuania's Alison Reid and Salius Ambrulevicius have been through perhaps more than anybody trying to take their spot. Now, skating to God is a DJ, and we come on by Faithless.
This is my church. This is where I heal my hurts. This is my church. This is where I heal my hurts. God is a DJ. All the subtle flavors of my life are become bitter seeds and poison leaves without you. You represent what's true. I drain the color from the sky and turn blue without you. These arms lack a purpose, flapping like a hummingbird. I'm nervous 'cause I'm the left eye, you're the right. Would it not be madness to fight? We come one.
I wish I could hear the words said from Cellars emblematist Alison Reid, his partner, as they vie to finally become an Olympic ice dance team together. It was incomprehensible to think that this team didn't qualify, because at the World Championships in 2024, they were 6th in the world. And then that nightmare rhythm dance forcing them to return here.
I think they're quite secure.
I think you're right. And they really wanted a program that represented who they are. God as a DJ and We Are One by Faithless, representing the concept of unity and life as a dance. And you can see the great work that they've done, and Marie-France Debreu listed as choreographer. She's obviously exceptional, but I think also Sam Chouinard, I don't know, but I presume the work of Sam Chouinard, the off-ice expert, really enhancing this piece that instantly already this season has garnered them success. They beat world bronze medalist Lada Fear and Luce Gibson, I believe, in the free dance section of the Bolero
It's
Cup.
remarkable to have so many good teams, but so different in one training location.
Yeah. I think Alison and Salius were perhaps a little bit more conservative than they would have been in Sheffield when they first competed this, because they know what this means. And Alison's already an Olympian with a former partner back in 2010, I believe. And now, finally, this team, with the passport assigned to both parties, will make their way to Milano. And you know, I think that the ice dance community, I think they're probably, I imagine, I don't know, but I imagine that there are a whole load of ice dance teams watching this now who are like screaming with joy to see these people get what they've deserved. Such great people.
Look at the joy.
I can get through that, but now we see Chris. That's emotional. Kathy and Alison's brother, the picture that we see every time in the Kiss and Cry. But I don't think I can cope with the emotions of what we're about to see.
Yeah.
You can take over.
Yeah. Well, their personal best is 122.64. That would be way more than enough that they'll need than they'll need here right now. But these numbers will bring them joy. 117.78, that's first in the free dance. With a total competition score, they've got it. They're off to Milano with a 198.73. They take the title here in Beijing. They punch their ticket to Milano in February. You can see the tears of joy from Allison. Finally, it all comes together.
Woo!
You're exhausted, aren't you, Mark?
Yeah.
You worked hard.
What an emotional event, and I feel for Raitan and Majerov, the Swedish team. For me,
yes,
it was
so do I.
Really great performance, and remains to be seen whether or not they will secure a spot. There's some debate over residency for those that have already qualified a spot. So they will, I'm sure, continue to train in earnest, hoping that the 5th place here will still be enough.
Well, they have the rest of the season, as we know, national championships and European championships, world championships still coming up. So there's much more than just the Olympic Games in this season. Wow, okay. Wake up. So are you happy?
I really feel, I feel for the teams because we know how much this means, and I think, you know, there's some, the PDFs will now be poured over. There are some exclamation marks that have gone on choreo elements that now have affected scores that perhaps will be a surprise to some, and there's going to be debate as people pour over these results. But I think, you know, what we can say at the conclusion to this ice dance competition is that the passion was definitely evident in Skate to Milano.
And don't you think that that what we've seen so far in this whole event validates this new approach to the Olympic qualifying?
Oh my goodness, as exhausted as I am, I'm here to see this again.
Yeah.
In 4 years' time, hopefully.
It's a great event. Great event. As we take a look at some of the highlights in the dance, the free dance here on the final day of competition, we have one more event, the men's free program, coming up in just a little while. That's going to be an exciting event, and no real, well, there's a couple top leaders in there, but they're going to be battling for those 5 positions that are up in the men's event. That concludes our coverage of the free dance, and they'll have the medals a little bit later this evening. I'm Ted Barton along with Mark Conradi for the ISU. Thank you for watching. We'll hope you join us for the men's free.